Welcome to Soul Awakening Conversations Emerge and Flow. Beloved ones, I am thankful and grateful that you are joining me once again, here to explore the unfolding of consciousness through presence, truth, and the beauty of becoming, right? Tonight, I am honored to share this moment with Kamran Assadi. He's a yogi, a poet, a sound healer. He's a spiritual guide whose journey is living expression of transformation and pure love. Through his path, he reminds us of how sound and silence and breath can become the bridge to human becoming the divine. I am so happy and grateful to have him join me today, to be, if you want to say the word vulnerable, with questions and answers, let it be so. But I think I wouldn't use the word vulnerable. I would use the word open, transcending, surrendering. So take what resonates for you and leave what doesn't, because this is his story and we're going to embark on it. He's just joined us and I am going to let him in. So take a big breath. Welcome him in. I'm so excited. I just can't hide it. I'm about to lose control and I know.
Oh,
How are you, my beautiful
I'm
soul?
I'm good. How are you? How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. And as I'm not sure how Instagram has it, where it's how it focuses, but I've noticed that you can't see when people join in, but as soon as they start commenting, you'll see them. So
Yeah.
I suggest to everyone coming in, say a hello, let us know you're there. And if we can, we'll answer a question or two briefly, but we're going to embark on this flow or emerge and flow questions. I'm so excited.
Yeah, same here.
All right.
It's been a
So
while.
I gave you my introduction, my
Yeah.
perception of you.
hmm
Can you share with everyone your perception of you? Introduce yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I'm Kamran Assadi, British guy, spiritual guy, dad, to a teenage daughter, to a son of pregnancy loss. Sound healer, poet, spiritual counselor, certified yogi teacher, um, all-round creative, positive soul healer, leader, facilitator. Uh, I love group therapy. I love facilitating groups. I love being in community. Um, and just an all-round good, loving, caring, supportive, encouraging guy. So yeah, that's what I'm going with today. So that's the vibe.
And let it be so, and so it is.
Yeah, for
All
sure.
right, so let's begin. All right. So the questions that I do, I'm going to read them verbatim as the divine gave them. When you first confirmed that you were going to be on the show, I went into meditation and
Oh,
just, asked the divine, okay, I want to feel the questions. I want to feel Cameron, right?
yeah.
And in it, I have three flow questions.
Mm,
And then I have my signature emerge question.
yeah.
Okay. So, and you can feel as in depth as you need to, Or
Yeah.
if you feel too vulnerable, you can say, "Hey, Sandra, that's a little bit more than I wanted to do," and
Yeah.
that's perfectly fine because the divine will give me something else to flow with. All
Oh,
right,
sure. It's all good.
it's all good. All
All
right.
about the flow. All about the flow. So I'm
All
happy.
about the flow. Yeah,
Yeah.
we've been here before. It's the first 2 years was about just your awakening moment. But
Yeah, for
this
sure.
is about your not only your awakening, but your gifts that opened up to you, how you're using them in your everyday life, how they're coming to fruition, service to others and service to self, about merging consciousness and the deep stuff.
Yes.
Sometimes the raw stuff, right?
Yes, definitely.
Sometimes the stuff that when you talk about what you surrendered, somebody else is tapping in and going, "I've been there too,"
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
or "I needed to know this," right? Okay, so Cameron,
Yes.
your path as a healer and a poet seem to have been shaped by experiences that asked you
Mm-hmm.
to surrender deeply and rediscover love in new ways.
Mm.
When life has invited you into those moments, um, breaking you open or breaking that moment open, how have you allowed that? I'm going to use the word tenderness to become the sort of strength and compassion and transformation in healing you and also in your healing work.
Mm. It's a very, very big question.
Deep, right?
Yeah. All right. Ooh, take a breath. We gotta take a breath.
Mm.
Stillness. I would say stillness.
Stillness.
Yeah.
Stillness of listening or stillness in the all and the nothing.
Stillness is a whole embodiment, a whole energy. Um, we tend to overcomplicate things as humans, and I'm for the simple. I like things to be simple, and then from the simplicity, we can go deeper. So, stillness is something that has definitely stood out for me and has also become strength. Taking rest, taking time to reflect, taking time to learn, to be able to hear source or spirit um, talk, you know, because we have our own communicative relationship with the divine.
Right.
So it's important to listen to what's being said. I literally did a class this week on rest. Um, yeah, so I was teaching like a meditation sound healing class on rest, and I touched on rest isn't the obvious, you know. Rest isn't about sleeping or taking a nap. Sometimes it's about doing nothing. Sometimes it's about stillness. Sometimes it's about reflection. Sometimes it's about just listening and hearing what's to come, you know. Is it a divine download? Is it an insight? Is it a realization? And for that, it's important to really hone in on that. With the experiences that I've gone through, I've had to take steps back to listen, to be like, okay, what is my stance in this now? This experience has happened. I can't avoid it. I can't do
Mhm.
anything about it. All I can do is control how I respond and how I react to it.
Yeah.
What's the next step? How do I move forward? For me, alchemy and transmuting experiences are so important to me, but very, very natural to me and what I do. Like I have been doing this for decades. So it's a very natural, it's my natural habitat. Like basically it's where I live. Um, when my mum passed away, she gave me the gift of poetry. Something I wasn't planning on, something I didn't realize would happen, but that was given to me. And I had to learn how to adapt and adjust to that, to be malleable to that, because the ego hated creative writing and the ego hated poetry. But what the divine wanted was to use the things that my ego felt like I shouldn't be using and to use to help people. So there's that. With my son Malachi, when he passed away, it activated the gift of sound healing. I only ever liked sound healing in recent years in the pandemic, as someone, as a participant, not as a facilitator.
Mm.
So I had to learn how to, and even when I was discovering the sound healing through my son, it was mainly something private to be a part of my connection to him as his dad, to bring that into his being on this earth and his routine. So for me, facilitating was not in my this is not in my thinking. It wasn't in my being. I was like, okay. Um, but that activation happened, that gift activation happened, and that spiritual nudge happened. And I went with it because it was a connection to him, just like poetry is a connection to my mum. So those gifts were kind of like basically honoring their legacy, but also being the physical human embodiment of that legacy because I'm still here in this lifetime living, whereas my mum and my son are not. So, in terms of human body, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Just to be clear, they are living. It's just in a different aspect, in a different realm,
in a different form. Yes,
a different form. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So,
yes.
um, those were kind of the things there. But in terms of, just remind me the question again, because there's more I want to say. But I just
Yes. Okay. It says, I ask, when life has invited you into these moments of breaking open,
yeah, okay.
how have you allowed the tenderness to become source of strength, compassion, and transformation in your healing work? And I said, with yourself and in service to others.
Yeah, and with breaking open as well, it's not a negative thing. It's not negative to me. So um, it's heart opening, it's vulnerability,
Right.
but also these experiences allowed me to connect to myself and to see myself and connect to my soul and who I am and figure out how do I use these gifts that have been activated for me, like how do I move forward? Like it's a new way of learning, it's a new way of being. Vulnerability, like I've said to people, it's a spiritual cheat code for me. I use it
Oh, I love
very,
that.
very well. Yeah, I use it very well. I love it. I don't see it as a negative thing, even as a man of color. I think it really activates healing. It activates looking within. Like I mentioned stillness before, and for me,
Mhm.
the things I live by is be still and know that I am God. As a former Christian, I was hearing that all the time. There's even a hymn.
Okay, could you say that one more
Yeah,
time and
yeah,
say
yeah.
it slowly?
Be
Yes.
still
Uh-huh.
and know that I am God. Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yes.
So yeah,
Yes. I mean,
I feel like
when you slow it down and you, whew,
yeah,
right?
yeah. It's an affirmation to self. The
To self.
easiest way to say it. Yeah. So stillness for me, being still, that reflection, that time, that rest, that okay, that pause. And allowing you to see things as they are, and what's going on. And in Christianity, they say it as if it's external, but it's about the connection to self and who you are, because and the God within you, the God that you are, or the
Right.
goddess. Um, and it's really important to know that affirmation, because it's about connecting to the sovereign power that you have and the divinity within you. And every experience that I've gone through has been like a signpost in Cam, you're sovereign, Cam, your spiritual royalty, Cam, like, don't forget that. And
Right.
some of those experiences I forgot, you know. In this
Mhm.
lifetime, I've had that memory loss of the soul, like who I really am.
Right.
But through every experience, through every learning, I've learned to gain aspects of that memory back,
Right.
that re-remembrance,
Yeah. The
Um,
recalling. Yeah.
yeah, the
Yeah.
recalling, the
Yeah.
reawakening,
Me
yeah,
too.
all of that
It's
stuff.
like my higher being kicks in and
Yeah,
says, "Oh, let me remind you of this.
yeah,
I'm recalling this. Let me share it with you."
yeah,
It's
yeah,
like,
for sure. And everything has been heart opening. It's been a breaking to rebirth and renew. There's been a death of sorts,
yeah,
because with those experiences, they do bring trauma, they do bring death in the obvious sense and in so many different other ways.
yeah,
And it also brings the opportunity for that relearning, for that reprogramming, for really delving into that alchemy and that transmuting. Like, okay, what am I supposed to be learning here? Why is this happening? And not in the negative kind of lower frequency way of like the fear, the loss, the grief. Like, yes, it's okay to acknowledge those things and feel those things, but they're not the
yeah.
things they they're just guides to deeper healing, deeper growth,
Right.
deeper learning, deeper realizations, deeper insights. So for me, yeah, for me, like, these things, when you lose people close to you,
Hmm.
it really opens your heart to just learn deeper, because I feel like when it's people that are close to you, it hits different.
Oh, yeah. It really does.
Yeah. And when it hits different, the learning is deeper. The lesson is deeper. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everything is deeper. So you feel it more. And like, even just me, like, being someone who's in touch with feelings and emotions and being a Cancer moon. So like I enjoy wading in the deep waters of my emotions and my
Mhm.
feelings, and being
Right.
very emotionally sensitive, but being very secure in that articulation and expression. Um, I have cried many a time, like with all of these experiences, um, but it's also given me so much strength, so much power, um, and I've heard spirit louder because of all of this stuff. And it's given me a peace and a gratitude and a calm that humans don't even realize they can get from grief and loss and pain. Um, like, I transmute the pain to power, to purpose, to mission.
Oh, I
And
love that.
yeah,
Will you say that again,
I
please?
transmute that just came in flow. I transmute the pain
From
to
power,
power, to purpose, to mission,
from from pain to power
to
to
purpose,
purpose to mission.
mission.
Yes.
Yeah.
And with that, ooh,
Yeah.
that's a perfect segue into my next question. Oh,
Yeah, go for
okay.
it. I feel like I haven't even fully answered this question, but yeah, sure, we can go for it. That's fine.
Oh no, you have, but there's more to it. And I
Yeah.
think this second question. Okay, the divine gave me a segue into a vibration of you. I felt you when I was, you know, having these having the divine fulfill the questions within me, you know, and then I write them down really quick.
Yeah.
And the divine says, or shared with me, through your sound healing and your poetry, you give voice to the words that alone cannot hold, that words alone can't hold presence.
Mm.
You give the healing. I knew this was going to happen.
Mm.
You give it's not presence of mind. Presence of mind, body, and soul
Mhm.
in the healing sounds and poetry that cannot hold just plain words.
Mm.
When you channel the sound and verses through your music bowls, through
Yeah.
your sessions, you're giving a part of you that is vibrating from the inside,
Mm.
Guatatikia,
Mm.
out.
Mm. Mm.
Do you feel it as it moves through you, as you're recalling who you are in that moment of vibrational presence, right? Reclaiming, reclaiming, or how these sounds within you helped you to reclaim a part of yourself as you're expanding outward. You're
Mm.
giving as you're receiving.
Yeah. Firstly, I just want to say, it's like so refreshing to hear your light language again. It's been a while, like where I've heard it like live, where I've been around to hear it. So like, I just want to give gratitude to that. So like, thank you for always channeling and being that vessel. And it's funny that it came through, your light language came through in this question, because we're talking about channeling and we're talking about being vessels, right?
Right.
And in the vibration of the spiritual frequencies, the realms, all of that kind of jazz. Yes, to answer the question, I do feel it. I I look at my poetry as poetic channeling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm someone that is very, very good with my words and good with my communication. It's one of my gifts, and it's how I channel and vessel like these things from spirit, and I love it. Like I love words. I love learning new words. I love articulating. I love complimenting. I love any type of words of affirmation in terms of love languages and stuff like that. So I love that stuff. In terms of the channeling, I feel like my sound healing, they're like spiritually divine jam sessions. I feel like I'm never playing alone.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. I feel like I'm never playing alone. I'm always playing with my son. Like he's always there. He's always helping. Like um, he's ordering his energy to come through me, and I'm doing that. And I wouldn't be the sound healer I am today without any of that stuff. Like, definitely not. Like, it took him to activate that. So I know that anytime I sit in front of my bowls and I play,
Mm-hmm.
it's not me and it is me at the same time. So,
Right.
uh,
Because
yeah,
he had a brief moment here in the material world.
yeah,
Yes. And now he never left your side. He's your
no,
spirit guide.
for
He's
sure.
yeah.
Yeah, I love that. And
Yeah,
yeah, I feel that as well. Like, yeah, the connection never got severed for me. So,
yeah,
like, just on a real, and yeah, I feel him. I feel my spirit team like playing with me all the time. Like, and it's just fun. Like, I'll just be there, just jamming, and every session is different. Like, I never play the same stuff. I feel it. I don't think it. So it's not. It's sound healing, not sound playing.
yes,
So yeah, so I'm not like, oh, this note will go here, but like I will feel the energy. I'll be like, well, from these three bowls that I have, I'm being guided to play this bowl for an extra 3 minutes, or like just keep playing, and then I'll be in a trance. I'll be chilling, just like playing it, like this one
mhm,
bowl, and then I'll be like, my brain goes, oh, I've been playing this bowl for a while, but like I'm still being guided to keep playing it. So
right,
like things like that happen because I have clear audience. So
yeah.
for anyone that doesn't know what that is, it's
Please,
just
please tell them what it is.
you know me, I'm always gonna teach. So
Yes.
clear audience is a spiritual sense. So we have our five senses, human wise, but the clear senses are like your spiritual senses, and clear audience is basically spiritual hearing. It's the easiest way to describe it. Um, so the way that spirit talks to me is I hear like on earth nothing is happening, right? But spiritually I'm getting downloads through the ears. It's like I'm being talked to. Like it's kind of like when someone kind of like whispers in your ear or like talks really loudly, like, oh yeah, did you hear? Like I'm just hearing it and it comes through. So it will come through in that kind of hearing way, and I'll be like, okay, cool, I'll say on that bowl. I can have that self-talk inwardly
Yeah.
and know what's going on. It's like that's the communication that's happening. Sometimes I catch myself kind of like laughing at what I hear, but it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just like laughing at what I hear because it's kind of like from the outside it looks crazy because I'm in the human realm, but like spiritually I'm like, yeah, like this is so
Uh,
so normal.
I
Yeah,
hear my higher being always. Sometimes I'll be watching somebody do something. I don't know. I could be in the grocery store and somebody saying something, or and I'm not physically there. I'm physically there, but my higher being is having a chuckle and will chuckle to me. Oh,
yeah,
that's funny,
yeah,
right? you know and I'll have this. It's like having an interaction with yourself.
mhm,
Now if you took this and you somebody else was watching you,
yeah,
they probably say you need to go see a shrink or something.
yeah, for
That
sure.
shouldn't
Yeah,
be happening.
yeah.
But when you're a fly on your own wall of inner beingness,
Mm,
it
mm,
can make you, sometimes it can make you chuckle.
yeah,
Sometimes things that your higher being, your inner your expressive self, which I call my ego, because my ego just tries to express and it's, oh my God, that was so horrible. And then
yeah,
my higher being will go, but great, she felt that.
yeah,
That kind of thing. And it becomes, my higher being will say, okay, that was a lesson learned, right? Voice memo that, or jot that down, because
yeah,
that could
for
be a
sure. Yeah.
teachable moment for someone else.
Yeah, and the great thing about me as well is that one of my favorite weaknesses that I don't see as a weakness, I see it as fun, um, is that, and you see it in this conversation already, is that something will come up to me, and for me, I'm just like, oh yeah, it's just flow, blah blah blah. But for the people outside of me, like I don't realize how much of a deep seed it can be for someone, like a big teaching moment. And sometimes I will like go over it because I'm in flow. So I'll be like, la 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 la, and it takes like people like yourself to be like, no, that's a good thing. You need to repeat that. And I was like, oh, okay, like because to me, I'm just like, oh, that's like a normal lesson because of my higher self and like what's going on with that. So it's just
Right.
like really funny with that. But yeah. But in terms of yeah, it just the channeling and and being a vessel is it's just being connected to self, your higher self, your spiritual team, you know, your ancestors, your archangels, all those kind of spiritual entities, and it allows me to really just trust the process and trust the flow. I
Right.
trust myself, and that allows me to be so peaceful and be so calm and just relax because I'm like, oh yeah, this is fine, this is easy, this is flow, this is you know, and it just allows me to enjoy the creativity of the gifts that I've been given. I just get to enjoy it, you
Mm.
know.
Yeah.
I have fun playing my sound bowls. I have fun expressing myself through poetry. There's no there's no real there's no real human like parameter of like it has to be this or like the ego part of it doesn't matter to me. Like I know that these are gifts and skills and tools that have been given to me to use, and
Hmm.
it doesn't have to be this thing of like I have to be the best in what it is or I have to be because that's very human. For me, it's just about you have a gift, are you using it and are you activating it? If the answer is yes, then you're fine. And all you have to do is just trust it and just walk in it and learn it in terms of learn how you flow in it. And
Okay.
then be an
That's
open
the,
flow. Yeah.
you said if the answer is yes, if the answer is no,
Yeah.
what is your process when you're that fly on the wall
Yeah.
and you have that answer to your higher being?
Yeah.
Yes, I have the gift, but I'm not using it. What
Yeah.
is the process for you to get to using it?
It goes back to the first question that you answered, that
Uh-huh.
you asked me. So again, it goes back to you have to rest, you have to be still, you have to process and reflect because
Mhm.
that's where you're gonna get some of those answers. Also, it's gonna take work. Like people will see, you know, I'm kind of like a sun. I'm like a sun, like the sunshine, like the light. And people love that about me, and people love the charm and stuff like that. And they see the easy breezy and how it kind of flows. They see the goodness of it. They don't see what I've gone through to get there. Like I've done a lot of deep inner healing work to get to that point to even to get to the point to have the experiences that I've had
Right.
to activate the gifts that I have and the skills that I have. And walking in healing and teaching and leading and facilitating and being comfortable in expressing myself, but also knowing my truth in order to
Mhm.
express it. So, yeah, when the answer is no, you're encouraged to take a step back. You're encouraged to pause. You're encouraged to, okay, this isn't working in the way, like, why am I not using my gift? What is holding me back? That's where you do more internal reflection, which can turn into that inner healing work that you need to do in order to and move up. So it takes a lot of that because I've had to ebb and flow in that for decades. And I would say in the last like 5 years, it's kind of like where most of my learning really started happening.
Mhm.
Um, and I would encourage people to do the work, but the human side of that is we are very great at questioning things we shouldn't question and not questioning
Questioning what we
things.
should.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah, thank you.
Right.
Yeah, and I say, and the biggest example, because uh, the biggest example for me is myself. That's how I learn and that's how I can teach. So For me, I my learning was I lost my train of thought, so let me come back to that. But I would say when I was Christian, I was performing, right? And
Hmm.
I say performing not like, hey, I'm performing a poem. I was performing my life. I was performing my relationship with God, right?
Right.
So
Your relationship with God as
yeah,
being told what your relationship with God should be, right?
yeah, yeah, for sure. I was brought up in
Been
the
there,
church.
done that.
Yeah, for sure. So
Yeah,
I was brought up in the church, and it's more about this is what this generation did, and this is what you should do. And we know, like I said, like we never question it, right?
right.
So with the questioning, it's like questioning is a very childlike quality, and the soul has childlike energy, whether we like it or not. And whenever we are babies, we're closest to our souls.
Yes.
And as we get into adulthood, we usually distance ourselves just in terms of the regular human way of what we do. And that's why spiritual awakenings and reawakenings and rebirths and all that kind of stuff are very important to get back to that soul,
Right.
the identity of the soul and the energy of the soul. So Christians and people in religion don't question enough. Um, we just accept what we're told, and
Hmm.
we never question, which means that we just kind of keep going. Even if something is like, wait, that's a bit weird, like I don't understand that, we just accept it.
Yeah.
So that's something that we should question that we don't,
Right.
whether it's out of fear, whether it's out of just cultural compliance, whatever it is, I don't know. But that's a new term. I've never said cultural compliance before. That's pretty cool.
But that's pretty cool. Yeah, that's very very deep. That the fact that yeah, in certain cultures, I
Yeah,
know in most Black cultures, with whether you're a Northern Baptist or a Southern Baptist, things are just whatever the pastor says. That's it.
yeah, yeah,
Even
yeah,
right. So, I remember as a kid, I like the fact that you said that our higher beings, our souls, are like children. They're the ones that are going to go, but why?
yeah,
But
exactly. And that's what we should do. Yeah,
yeah, but explain it to me. As a child, as a child, we've talked about this before. I
yeah,
was always asking why. I was driving
yeah,
the adults in my life nuts in the church and in Bible study school
yeah,
and very and they would come and they ask my mom to pull the reins in on her. And my
yeah,
mother would just, lean in and say, well, what question did you ask, Sandy? And I would tell her. And she would say, did they answer it? And I would say, well, no. She says, well, she would tell them, she would tell me, keep asking,
yeah.
right? It wasn't that she was going to go and tell the adults, leave her alone. She
Mm,
just told me, well, keep asking. you
yeah.
know Maybe don't ask the person that you've already asked, but
Mm,
ask someone else. She allowed me to go to different churches and find out information, and ask questions about the Bible when it didn't make sense, because I was the kid that always went, nope, that's not right. that
yeah,
doesn't that doesn't sound right to me. Could you please explain that? Could you, give me more information, kind of thing. It wasn't always in other parts of my life. I
yeah.
think it was in that my spiritual growth. I believe that my mother chose to, as a higher being, to come in and be my mother, to be my physical earthly mother
Mm,
and guide.
yeah.
She was both. She's now my spiritual guide,
Mm,
right? Because I lost her when, not lost, she transitioned when
mm,
I was in my 30s.
yeah.
So life took a turn then in my 30s. So, all but because of that, all my awakening and recalling in other areas of my life started to open up gifts,
Mm.
started to open up journeys, that kind of thing, you know.
Yeah,
So sometimes what we're told is a negative
yeah,
can be can can be a catalyst to thrust you into a recalling,
yeah. An alignment.
right?
Yeah.
New World Healer says, "Great to see you."
There you go. Great to see you too.
And everyone, he can only see you when you're making comments. He doesn't see you when you join. I see you when you join. So
That's
say
very true.
hello to him.
Yeah,
Support.
yeah. Engage. I see the people who are doing the emojis and stuff, so I see like people engaging and stuff. So uh,
Yeah.
there's sign of life.
Yes, actually, yes, yes, yes.
It's so
And
cool.
you know, I've got another question
Yeah,
that
go.
is part of your growth and your expansion, your service to others.
Yes.
And we've talked briefly about this before.
Hey,
Hi,
Laura.
Laura. We talked about the community that's needed for men
Yes, yes.
who are we talk a lot and we've developed a lot of things for women who are abused,
Mm.
and we have women have a platform to and women have also been allowed because they're open with their emotions and whatnot.
Yeah,
But where men are concerned, there's still a lot of community that needs to um, acknowledge that men in relationships, whether it's marital or whether it's, you know, uh, whether it's I'm just trying to relationships, whether it's male male, male female, whatnot, have a tendency to be bullied in relationships, right? They get abused. You know, their only 8 hour, you know, reprieve is to go to work. But as soon as they go to work, when they're at work, they can't talk about what they're going through at home because the male, oh, I'm trying to say this in the right way,
yeah,
the male code is men don't cry, men don't show feelings, men's emotions don't matter. Buck up, little camper, you know, you know, stand up and be a man.
hmm
And the one that's the worst of it is, well, your wife can't be kicking your ass, so we're not even going to talk about that. You know, you're the man of the house, you know, that all of this. And this has been downloaded into the psyche of men for centuries. This is not, you know, new. This is centuries that men have this. They have no one to really talk to. They
yeah,
can't go and talk to, or now it's opening up. But before, they couldn't go and talk to a female psychologist because they felt threatened or, you know, diminished. And they can't go and talk to a male psychiatrist because a man is going to say, "You mean you're being bullied in your own house?" You know. And what we're talking about is uh it could be your wife could have been an alcoholic and she could be a violent alcoholic, or she could have grew up where she saw her mother bullying her dad and that's the way she, you know, she would think that's to happen. These are examples. I know at the last time that we were talking, the last two times that we did a live together,
hmm
you were building a plan to help men have community where they could open up and heal. Could you tell me that process? Because I think that's been about what, 2 years, a year and a half, 2 years?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because first time we talked was 2024, right? Around
Yeah, 2020,
yeah,
end of 2023, we had
yeah,
started talking
yeah,
about
yeah.
it, but
And
we didn't go live until 2024.
2024.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know in 2024, like I did like a podcast with a couple of ladies that they were focusing on helping men, which is always funny to me, just to be very transparent. Um, I believe in men running men's spaces. Um, when when women do it, it's good to a point, but it needs more for the men. So I'm always grateful when women try to be of help to men, and I think it's great. And I do believe men and women do need each other, and we do need more co-ed spaces.
Mhm.
But men also need men-only spaces and men-only facilitators. You know, male facilitators.
Right.
But men need men that are divinely balanced. So
Yeah.
yeah, so they need men like me who can flow in divine masculine and divine feminine and be completely secure and be completely safe and in that foundation that I've rooted and grounded myself in.
Mm.
But in terms of what I've done, obviously as a dad of pregnancy loss, the biggest thing I've kind of done is there's two things. The biggest thing I've done is walking in my truth and expressing it.
Mm-hmm.
There's not many men that kind of wear pregnancy loss proudly, right? So that's something that I do. Like I know that I am a light. I know that I'm a son. I know that an example, and that's how people learn, and that's also how I teach
Right.
by embodying that. So being public with my pregnancy loss story and attaching that to the sound healing. When people ask me how did I get into sound healing, I'm always going to connect it to my pregnancy loss because that's exactly what the origin was. So um, I'm not afraid or ashamed to talk about that. That's a part of my story and the narrative I've been given by spirit in terms of in this lifetime, this experience is something I was supposed to have for a plethora of reasons. And I'm activating some of those and realizing some of those as I live it.
Right.
So, yeah, like being confident in expressing and articulating myself and living my truth and speaking my truth. And like I said, turning that pain to power, to purpose, to mission.
Okay.
That's powerful. Like people don't even realize how powerful it is. And I know that I trailblaze in that. There's not many men like me that are talking about it in this way that are also spiritual, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I'm new in that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I know I'm a pioneer in that.
Right.
Uh, I'm okay with whether I get flowers for that or whether I don't. Like I give myself flowers all the time, so I'm
Yeah.
good. Do you know what I mean? The second thing is, as a dad of pregnancy loss, I worked from the moment of my son being uh, stillborn on Earth um, to now. I worked like behind the scenes for about a year,
Mm-hmm.
um, working with an organization that deals with parents of pregnancy loss in coming up with a safe space container for dads of pregnancy loss to have, like a support group. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
because when I went through my loss and the social worker at the hospital was helping me, there were no real places in my city for dads of pregnancy loss like me. There were no support groups. I was told to
Right.
here's some resources, see if there are any men's groups. And I was like, what? Like, So
Yeah. And to tell you the truth, there wasn't very many of them because pregnancy, or the baby being stillborn, oh, the woman is going to take the brunt of it. She's going to be the most, emotionally charged, or distraught or whatnot. And the husband or
yeah,
significant other, right, is supposed to be the strong one, bypass the emotions and soldier on, you know
yeah,
soldier on, Christian soldier,
yeah,
that kind of thing.
sure. Yeah,
And the thing is, when we talk about the yin and yang energy, or the the masculine and feminine, divine masculine, divine feminine energy, you're so right. There has to be a balance. Now, my question with all of that I just said
yeah,
is, and it's been coming into my psyche a lot. The divine just does that to me. Okay.
sure. Yeah, yeah,
um that it's one thing that we help people who have an awakening, or their recall, or their dark nights of their soul. But there are, other men who are not on that trek of spirituality. How do you bring what you bring to somebody who doesn't know the spiritual, all what they might think of or be told that is spiritual mamby-pamby? They're just coming in because they have loss. They're coming in because they're having these feelings, and to them, it has nothing to do with religion or spirituality, but they feel this loss. They need to talk to someone about it. It's driving them a little cuckoo, or making them a little off center, or off kilter. How do you, or have you yet? Better question: have you dealt with any of these type of men that need this type of community as well?
yeah. It's a great question. So that kind of backs up like the last question that you asked, and this one as well. So, like I said, like I worked very hard with Missing Pieces Support Group, which was the organization, and we worked together to build a curriculum for the men to help, um, basically to help them, like, okay, what do these men need? What would I need as a dad of pregnancy loss? What do I think other men will need? And that support group was not a spiritual space. Like, it was a space. It's a safe space. Yes, I
Hmm.
may have, done my spiritual work to cleanse it for me and do what I need to do, but it's not a spiritual space. It's just a space for men to come into. So in that kind of container, because I did do it for, yeah, I did basically do that container for 6 weeks in a row, 6 Saturdays in a row,
Hmm.
5 weeks virtually, and the last week was in person. And we had the dads come in together, and we all actually met in person, which was great. And I think for me, like, it's just about working with men that we all have something in common, even if it's as simple as we are men, or we are men of color, or we are men who have dealt with mental health issues in the past or
Right.
current, or we are dads of pregnancy loss, or do you know what I mean? Like, these are things that can kind of bring us together, connect us, and that's how community can be formed, and that's how connections can be formed. That's how relationships can be formed. And like, if there is something spiritual, then, oh hey, like, I'm doing this, and they see that I'm doing this kind of stuff, then they can choose to come in or not come in. At the end of the
Right.
day, I'm gonna do what I do, And it's up to you personally what you do. Like, I'm not going to try and convince you, but if I think that you should come, then I'll tell you, you know, and you can decide whether you want to come or whether you don't. So
Right.
I think for me, it's just, for me, the big healing thing for me has been like working with men. As someone that my dad left me at a young age, I was raised around a plethora of women. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so I didn't. Uh, my first male role model was my granddad, and I didn't really start connecting with him until I was like maybe 8, 9, 10 years old. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And I started staying at his house at weekends and like actually spending time with him. So that tells you that being around men was like a discomfort because it was unknown. You know,
Unknown.
that,
Yeah.
yeah, my dad left me when I was young. I was just around a bunch of women, and any type of men I saw, they were kind of supplements to the women, you know? So
Mhm.
it wasn't anything, you know what I mean? I didn't really see a strong man until I saw my granddad. And, you know, that guy was stubborn and hard headed and very prideful, but very amazing, you know what I mean? A
Mhm.
great guy. So, um,
So he
and
taught you all the things
yeah,
about being stubborn and hard-headed and prideful, and these
yeah.
were lessons that you learned that,
Yeah. He was a very traditional man, very
yeah.
traditional man. But he also showed me like there's some really cool aspects of this, and there's, but what's Cameron? You know what I mean? And I learned that
Mhm.
over the years, like, who do I want to be? I realized I wasn't a traditional guy. I have certain traditions that I do, but I'm not that type of person. So like, I'm
Right.
very free. Yeah, but um, yeah, it's just like in terms of the spaces, like working with men has been a real thing that's been coming into my life, and doing that. So that's been a big healing and learning curve for me, like literally working with men. That's something I've really had to deeply heal and grow in to be able to even do the stuff that I'm doing. Like,
Yeah.
that is a testimony in itself, like talking openly as a man and being comfortable in that and speaking my truth, and then creating a container for dads of pregnancy loss to come in and do that. I love going to men's circles as well, and that's something that I eventually want to do, and like, you know, start my own healing circles and stuff like that for men. But
Yeah.
um, I love going to men's circles and connecting with other men and learning that kind of stuff. And that is also market research for me. Like, it helps me to like, oh, I'm comfortable with connecting with men. They see me as a man as well, and boom, 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 and that helps me in
Yeah.
what I do. So, like facilitating,
You get to learn more
yeah,
of what you need to do to
yeah,
help them. Yeah.
yeah, to be there. You like to,
Yeah.
like, oh, this is the vibe, and this is what they want, and this is, you know. So, I would say, yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah. So, for sure. Um, so yeah, so I would say like doing that pregnancy loss group was like a big kind of like, I can hold space for men, and I am in a good enough healed space to do that and to
Mhm.
be an example of that. And like, we even talked about in group, like, you know, partner support, and also talked about like accountability, because like you said earlier, like it falls on the women, but it's really not about them. Like, it's about the family as a whole. Like, it takes two, you know,
Right.
and there's sperm and egg, you know what I mean? So
Yeah. Yeah.
do you know what I mean? And
It
last time I
does.
checked,
It takes two.
yeah, last time I checked, it's
And it takes two to have the emotion to feel the loss.
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
really.
It's not like it's not a skewed thing of like 90-10. Like, it's kind of 50-50, you know what I mean? So for me, like in my pregnancy loss, I had to learn to take accountability for my part in it, you know, and to,
Mentorship.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah, there we go, yeah, and also to allow to teach my partner as well, like, the world tells you this is the way, but that's not necessarily always the truth. So, like, I don't want you taking on the brunt of stuff, because I was there as well. Like, if you take on the brunt of stuff, you're basically not acknowledging me. You know what I mean? You're not acknowledging me and my role, like loss and pain and all that kind of stuff that comes with this kind of experience. It's both of us, you know. So we both have to heal. Like it's womb healing, but like I have a sacral healing part of me too. It's not a womb per se, but it is a birthplace of birth, of creativity, of joy, of all of those things that the sacral chakra is. And I have a sacral chakra, and she has a sacral
The
chakra.
sacral chakra. Right.
So, like, what are we doing here? Do you know what I mean? So, it's things like that. But to answer both of those questions together, it's really important to acknowledge the role of men, but to acknowledge my role as a man in order to be able to facilitate spaces to be able to be of help for men. Sometimes the biggest thing I do is talking to men in terms of connections, friendships, partnerships, collaborations. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
I do that work. Like I help out at an event called Real Men Real Yoga, and it's a collaboration between two companies, and one of them is like a male wellness agency,
Mhm.
and the other one is like a wellness spa, and they work together, and we hold it at like a gym,
Mhm.
and you know it's ran by men. Like the facilitators are all men because it's for real
Okay.
men, real yoga. So we do yoga, we do breath work, and then I do the sound healing facilitating
Right.
usually, and it's the biggest thing to be given the gift of sound healing from a boy, you know, a young boy soul,
Mm-hmm.
my son Malachi, and to be a man as the channeled vessel playing with his energy for a room of men with male facilitators.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? And like, not everyone gets that, and like, not everyone gets to do that. Not everyone gets that opportunity, but like, it's moments like that. Like, sometimes when
Mhm.
I'm playing for these men, like, you know, my Cancer moon self, you know, the tears are building up. I'm just very emotional. I'm like, wow, this is it. Like, this is what it should be. This is what it's about.
Right.
Um, to be there for the men, to facilitate, to activate healing for them, to get them to a place of meditation, to get them to a place of calm. You know what I mean? With the support group for the dads of pregnancy loss, it's like creating the safe foundational space for them to talk about their pregnancy loss experience and feel comfortable doing that and talking with other men who have dealt with pregnancy loss. Like, yes, it was a group I facilitated, but I was also a participant in the group, you know?
Right.
So I'm learning from them because they've had pregnancy loss experiences that are older than mine. You know, some of them are dealing with rainbow babies where like they're able to have a child successfully in terms of the birth outcome on earth. So I'm learning from them and I'm seeing what's possible. So it's kind of like yeah, yeah, take care. Yeah, so um it's really important to like delve into like what we do and how we do it and being that I learn from every man I connect with. I learn from every woman I connect with.
Mhm.
And that makes me a better person, a better healer, a better facilitator, a better leader. And I think for men it's just about being present and just showing them what's possible, you know. You don't have to hide your pregnancy loss experience, you can talk about it. And if you
Yeah.
talk about it in a safer space that's more private, that's okay. Or if you just want to talk about it to your partner, that's okay. You don't have to hide it. You don't have to keep it on you because that suppression becomes something that the body holds on to and it's something that the energy can't move
Yeah.
through, you
And
know?
sometimes even your partner, the your partner from a male perspective
Hmm.
is not ready to talk. She's still experiencing grief and sorrow, you know, sometimes even shame, and you know, you know, thinking how everybody else is looking at her, that, you know, how could she, she's not a real woman. She couldn't even hold, you know, bring a baby into the world. That all these different thoughts that go in the psyche of birth, of the loss of a young child, you know, because, you know, I lost my grandson, or
Mm.
my grandson transitioned at 4 months,
Mm.
right? And while I was going through the grieving period, I was also given that moment where, like you were talking about, stillness. There was a stillness for when my son called me, and uh, he the baby died in its sleep overnight. So, you know, they had, you know, the police come. They had everything. He was there. His wife was having a, you know, was having a meltdown. My son was trying to hold everything together because, hey, you know, he's the strong one, and you know, their other children were still being them. They didn't know what was going on, so they're still, you know, being their selves, you know, and so it was a. I'm going to tell you,
Mhm.
my grandson came to me in spirit while I was on the way to see them.
Mm.
And the orchestration of my grandson in spirit, there was people in the car that we hadn't been together in company of each other,
Mhm.
just you know, a certain small family, but we were in that car, and the ride, you know, Cameron, was so quiet,
Mm.
so silent, that at that moment I could hear this very soft voice of wind saying, "I'm okay. I've come to you because I'm okay. They
Mm.
won't understand why I had to go. They won't understand why it was my time.
Mm.
They're still in the humanness of it.
Mm. Mhm.
They're going to have to grieve, Grandma,
Mm.
but you'll know when you need to tell them." And he told me, "Tell my dad that I've got his face." And he would always like touch his dad's face,
Yeah.
you know, and tell my tell my mom I'm always there.
Mm.
And then, you know, that peace just came over me. But of course, the thing is, I still, what I realized is, even my grieving in w- uh, within, I still had that vibrational stillness that said, "You can do this, because you're going to need to be strong for both of them. They're not, you know, they're not where you're at right now. They don't understand that he had to leave the body because his body wasn't strong enough to hold him. But he knew that. He came to bring, he came to unite.
Mm.
And but then I realized he walked with me,
Mm.
holding my hand as a spiritual guide, but he was always there with his mom and dad. But
Mm.
at the time where I realized, Cameron, I didn't feel him anymore. And then he came to me in a dream and he says, well, I found a body. I'm coming back to my mom and dad.
Mm,
They don't know it yet, but they'll call me by a different name.
mm,
And they'll hold me as if I'm a different person,
mm.
but I'm the same spirit,
Wow.
and I've got to go now. And
Mm,
then he told me, you'll be okay,
nice. Yeah.
right? And it was like, oh, okay. And I thought, wow, because we look at loss and we think only from the human
Yeah.
aspect of
Yeah.
it,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? But then when you can just sit in that silence, like you were saying with that first question that you answered,
Yeah.
if we can sit in that silence, we can hear
Yeah.
so much. We can acknowledge, or we can hear our spirit guides.
Mm,
We can acknowledge information.
yeah.
It doesn't mean we have to stop being human. It doesn't mean that we have to spiritually bypass the humanhood, but
Yeah.
it starts to help you understand how you can help other people, you know, through all different tiers of who you are,
Mm,
you know, and
yeah.
and where your tiers show up in in teaching, in educating. And I think teaching and educating, for me, teaching is specific, and
Yeah.
education is that you get a plethora of these downloads and it goes out to everyone,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and right, and everyone takes what resonates,
Yes.
and they go, well, you might have 30 people that come into your life, and all 30 people are hearing something different from you,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I remember your words that uh, you sent to me in the DMs when I lost my grandson,
Yeah.
and I just think you were channeling then. I I think that my grandson said, "She's got to hear me,"
Yeah.
you
It's
know.
something gonna. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. For sure. And and you touch on a really good point that spirits can come in and out, can come in and out of this realm. So they can pass away in one earthly body and come through in a different way in another.
Mhm.
And that's something that a lot of people don't really realize as well. They don't realize that that is a thing because they're thinking of it, like you said, with human eyes. So, yeah, it's like, yeah, so you enjoy what I'm about to say because Spirit just made me laugh. So I did the laugh thing again. I heard something. So
Yeah.
basically, Spirit saying they humanize IZE with human eyes.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah. That's and they're coming to what I've learned a whole year and a half later
yeah,
is, oh, he's that same spirit is back in the family, but
mm.
he's such a healthy, chubby baby and a happy baby.
yeah,
And when he looks at me, he just stares at me, you know,
familiar.
kind of.
Yeah,
Yeah. And I go, I see you.
mm.
I do. I see him.
Yeah,
I don't know if my son and daughter-in-law will understand it,
yeah,
that, you know, I think that they see him as two separate babies.
yeah,
you
But as
know.
long as you understand it, that's what matters.
Yeah.
They'll understand it if they're supposed to, and it's okay.
But yeah, exactly when they're supposed to. And I did deliver when it was the right time and the right place. Baby Lux had told me, you'll know the right time and the right place. And I delivered the message, and there was a vibrational resonation with
Yeah.
them taking in the information, right? It wasn't for me to, it wasn't for me to validate for them.
Oh
It
no.
was for them, for me to give them that information. They take what resonated, and then, you know, they grew in it. And that takes us to my signature question. Okay. And then you get to ask me a question, because that's what conversation is about.
Yeah, yeah, sure. I don't
Right.
even have one, but we'll see what comes up. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay. So in the season of your becoming, as
Yes.
love, loss, body, and spirit continue to shape your path, what is awakening within you right now in these now moments? And how is that awakening the transforming that you see yourself as a humanitarian, a higher being, and the divine consciousness?
Hmm. The education part speaks to me a lot. Um, I enjoy I enjoy conversation, but I also enjoy talking, communication, and I enjoy the divine downloads I get in order to give out to people to educate. There's so many things that come um, in terms of the downloads. Not everything gets um, put into content for people to look at
Right.
on social media. Sometimes it comes out in the spiritual counseling sessions I do, or the conversations I have with people, um, or text messages I write to friends, or what I mean, it will come out in that kind of stuff. But I feel like spirit has me here because there's still work to do, yes, but there's still education to expand and express outwardly.
Right.
And there's many things that I know that need to be, what they say, spread the good word.
Yeah.
Going back to my Christian roots, the good, like all that kind of stuff. It's like when I was a Christian, a preacher prophesied and said that I would be a a preacher, basically, and the prophecy did come true, but not in the way that they may have seen it. It came true in terms of what I do now, um, just communicating and speaking the word divinely to fall on people's hearts, to fall in people's hands, to fall on their minds, for it to activate certain things for them. A recent a recent thing that I want to kind of educate people here on, whether people are watching it live or on the replay, is, and we've talked about loss and the passing away of loved ones, and um, there's two things I want to say. So obviously with your grandson who has come through in a different way now. And I've had a friend recently this week deal with the loss of a sibling. Condolences aren't necessarily the things that we need to give. Um, I think sometimes it just has to be acknowledgement of where people are at, dealing with the unexpected grief and loss, and supporting them in that journey. Um, Sometimes the right condolence is to say, I don't know what to say.
Ex- exactly. Exactly.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah,
vibrationally condolences never worked with me. And I would always
yeah,
say, what else can I say besides that?
yeah.
You know?
And yeah, exactly. And with my friend who recently lost a sibling, Spirit gave me a massive lesson of saying it's okay to express that I I don't know what to say, but like I'm here and like we can chat if you want, but I'm also gonna give you space as well because I know that you're gonna be dealing with these condolence showers because people know that you're dealing with a loss and people are gonna wanna uh, inundate you with all of that kind of energy, and then usually that happens for a period of time and then it stops and they pull back. So I like to call them condolence showers
Mhm. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's you're drenched, you're soaked, you're wet. It can feel overwhelming, it can feel drowning, it can feel draining if you're in it for a long period of time. You know, like sometimes when you're in water for a long time, your fingers wrinkle and stuff like that. So like it's things like that. So like when your fingers wrinkle, it also says that something's being drained from you. You know what I mean? Because you've been in it for
Right.
so long. Because it's the raisin effect, right?
Right.
So um I like to call them condolence showers, and usually when I say that to people, they get it. But again, that's me with words, making phrases up, putting them together, and compounding them into something that makes sense. So
Right.
um, that's one thing as well. So like even when you were talking about your grandson today, obviously we talked about it before, but like today, you know, it was way more fresh because of where I'm at in my healing journey, where you're at your healing journey, and like what
Right.
you learned from those times since.
Yeah.
And it never felt like a oh it never felt like I've got to say sorry for your loss, or it never felt like I've got to give a condolence because I was like, I don't need to, like she's cool, like it's fine, like we're just talking about these experiences. So and then also with what you were saying in terms of like your grandson came back in a different way anyway, there's nothing to really say condolence wise, there isn't.
There,
So
yeah.
but people don't have that awareness, you know what I mean?
Yeah. They don't have that
Yeah.
awareness, you
Again,
know.
they humanize with human eyes, so they just go. The right thing to do is to give condolences or oh, I'm so sorry for your loss and stuff like that. And it's like my thing when people do that to me is like, you didn't do it. You didn't do anything. It
Yes,
wasn't you who did
that's
anything.
me too. That's
Yeah,
that's the Gemini in me.
yeah,
You what you didn't do anything. You
yeah. Why
know,
say sorry for me? Yeah,
yeah. You
yeah.
know what I've learned to say is I will say I've had loss.
Mm,
When you're ready to talk, feel free to call me.
yeah.
You
It
know,
was in their hands. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, and And I know it's a long sentence, but I think when people understand, when they hear that or they read it, they'll it pulls them out of themselves as the only one in this whole world, and the only one of
Yeah,
8 billion, almost 9 billion people in this world, that they're the only ones having the loss or having the a person transition on them or anything. And when you say if, I mean, I don't want anybody to lie, to not say condolences or to not say
Yeah.
that, but I know for me that I've had loss. I've
Yeah.
had people transition on me. And I had somebody actually say that to me. They wrote it in a card,
Mm,
you know, and I remember feeling a part of, oh, it's not only me.
mm, mm,
Do you
mm.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And if you ever need to talk, just I'm available. That's what they said. I'm available.
I like that.
Right. And literally one day there was, a time I was going through, my mom transitioning, and now my mom is one of my spirit guides.
Mm,
So now I understand certain things. Why she didn't, give me time to say goodbye, the whole thing, because I just in the last 3 years I found out, because she's uh, uh, spiritual guardian
mm,
in a different form. She never planned to go anywhere. She's
mm.
not gone. She's just in a different form.
Yeah, yeah.
And it took me, man, I'm telling you, walking dark, doing dark nights on the soul on other people's lives who are empaths.
Mm,
I mean, my mom just connected with this one empath, and she said she's not gone. She's going to tell you exactly why. And when they gave me that information that your mom is not gone, she's on your right side,
mm.
always. And then I could understand it. Okay, but that's the spiritual part.
Yeah,
But there are a lot of people who don't get the spiritual part because they're still in the human part of
yeah,
trying to make common sense of death,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
you
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah,
right? And
yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that because
Yeah.
I still perform like the condolence thing sometimes because sometimes people do get condolences from me because maybe that's what they need and maybe they're still attaching the humanity of it all.
Mhm.
So I'm like,
That's
hey,
yeah.
that's what I need to operate on that for them.
Right on that for them,
Yeah,
because they're still walking that path. It's
yeah,
not a it's not a it's not a right or a wrong. It's
yeah,
their path that they're in at that particular time. And it's acknowledging that they're in my space for a reason. And
yeah,
the reason is for me to allow them to have the comfortability of their perspective of what death is for them at that point.
yeah. You have to meet them
Yeah.
where they're at, you know. And another thing that I wanted to say is so I recently dealt with a cousin of mine. Um, so I recently started like teaching my own kind of classes in November and December at a spot in Houston, and you're welcome. You're here for a reason, yeah, for sure.
Ma guarda, io da chi non ci sia, no.
Wow. And
The
seven,
divine
rich
wants me to
number.
tell you, pretty, that even though it's been 7 years, she hasn't been that far from you. Let go of the loss of the humanness of her, and you will feel mm, the divine of her, because she's not far. She's never been far. She's always been, ooh, I feel she's saying, closer than the nose on your face. Closer than the nose on your face. She doesn't mark us as 7 years because it's all been a now moment for her.
Mm.
She watches over you while you sleep. She makes sure that you're comfortable and you're safe. She can do it from her new form.
Mm.
And unconditional love is what she has for you. Wholeness and balanced love she sends you. Wholeness and balanced love. Mm. Today, this now moment is going to be one of those lives. Mm.
Yeah, that was beautiful. I love channeling like that. It's amazing. Hmm.
So
Yeah.
she sends you butterflies. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. Malachi sends me butterflies actually as well.
Yes, there's a butterfly on my wall.
Oh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Yeah.
Mm.
And another thing as well, other thing I wanted to mention is with my granddad and his passing. So like I was saying, I recently got news of like, I'm gonna be teaching classes in November and December, just like in the local area where it's more meditation and sound with some breath work and stuff like that. And my cousin, who's connected to my granddad, um, sent me some congratulations and well wishes, and she lives in the UK. And I was like, yeah, that's amazing. And in the well wishes, she said, congratulations. She said, your granddad would be proud. And Spirit gave me a learning moment. I was like, okay. And, you know, she put the well wishes on like social media. So Spirit told me to react in a generic but good way. So, I just kind of said, thank you so much, the usual. But then Spirit nudged me to be like, talk privately to her. So I was like, all right, cool. All this stuff was coming up. And it was a big realization. And I basically said to my cousin, I was like, I really appreciate the sentiments and it's great, but I know my granddad and you know my granddad. Like, this guy would not have been proud. He would not have been proud of this achievement.
But that the physical him would not
Yes,
have
yes,
been proud,
yes.
right?
But remember, that's what she was talking about. So,
Ah,
yeah.
okay.
So I
Okay.
had to, yeah. So,
You have to
you,
meet her on her terms.
yeah,
Okay.
she
Got
wasn't channeling the spiritual aspect of him. So
it.
I
Okay.
had, yeah. So I was like knowing him and knowing what he was like on Earth and stuff like that. Like he would not have been proud of this. Firstly, he loved me clean shaven. And I am, a man with long hair and a beard. He wasn't
Mm.
down for that. One, two. Um, judgment is just a lack of understanding. So he doesn't understand this spiritual path that I'm on, being away from Christianity and being a sound healer. Like he would not understand these things, so he would judge it, which means that teaching classes in a community is not something that he'll be proud of me doing. It just doesn't make sense to him. So I was like, to be very honest, he would judge it. He'll be hard headed about it. I'd have to try and convince him about it.
Mm.
And it may not work. So I don't think pride would be the feeling that he would have in terms of this
Right.
development and this achievement, because he doesn't understand the achievement. Um, So when I had this conversation with my cousin, we chatted about it and she understood it, and we had like a really cool conversation. There was no animosity or anything. It was just a teaching moment. It was an education moment, and it worked out really beautifully. And it was like, wow, like we're so good at like glorifying the human energy of those passed away loved ones and speaking for them when we don't necessarily know that that is the case. We don't actually take it into account like how they really would be with this, you know. And this
Right.
is talking about the human element of the people, not because most people kind of operate there.
Right.
So yeah, so I was like, man, like people don't even know this. Like they don't even think about this. Like it's not even a, you know what I mean? And my brain was like, this is probably going to be an education moment where I have to do a reel about this or something, because people don't realize that they do that. They glorify and canonize and sanctify um,
Right.
the
So,
human person.
so how did the your higher self uh 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 acknowledge that for you, that she was channeling the human part of him,
Yeah,
or she was just saying that from
yeah,
because he raised you? Do you know what I mean? He was
yeah,
that.
yeah. I think it was a mix of both. It's because one, I know the person,
Mm-hmm.
like I know that cousin of mine, and
Oh, okay.
they operate in a religious standpoint, like as a Christian,
Okay.
and I have good intuition, so it didn't feel like the insight was about my granddad's higher self. It felt like it was literally like a, hey, he would have been proud kind of thing. And I was like, okay, you know, like just like when people told me like, oh, your mom will be proud of how you are and what you're doing, and I always go like, yeah, well, look at what I'm doing. Yes, she would be proud. Like, like to me, it just makes sense that she would be, and it's not because I'm doing good or bad. It's just because I know, I know what she was like on Earth, and I also know that what she was like with me, but I also know where she is right now. So I'm kind of like, she would be cool anyway, because at the same time, she is her and she isn't her right now.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah.
you know what I mean. So it's kind of things like that. But with this instance, it was more like I'm getting the human side. Like there's nothing telling me that this is a higher frequency thing, because I know this cousin, I know this person. It's not coming from any uh, divinity outside of religion or that kind of humanized.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, so it felt like that. It wasn't even like a. I didn't even have to think about it. It's just like I knew it. I was like, oh, okay, you know, which again, inner knowing, clear cognizance, all that kind of stuff, which education moment is just when you know something, when you spiritually know something and you know it's so strong that you know it to be true. That's clear
Right.
cognizance. Yeah. So for
Mhm.
everyone, know what clear cognizance is.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, that's kind of what it felt like, and I was like, man, this is like a real moment to like teach but let people know, because a lot of us are, humanly speaking, for these people that are not here anymore, that can't speak for themselves,
Right.
and then we're talking for them like, oh yeah, he would be proud. I'm like, let's
Yeah.
think about it. Would he though?
Okay.
So yeah, so like that was another thing as well, and that's something that I kind of wanted to say, but say in this live, because I think that can help people to like delve into like a deeper realization and insight, and maybe like you said, knowing when we're talking about them spiritually and when we're talking about them humanly, which
Yeah.
was when you were saying that, it taught me to be like, Yeah, oh yeah, that is true, and that is something, and I need to be aware of that too, you know.
Yeah.
So that helps me. So um yeah, those
Yeah.
are the kind of things that kind of came up to kind of say and give out. Um yeah, and I think also just people need to stop believing what society tells them about spiritual things.
Yeah. Well, I'm
Yeah.
going to say I'm not going to tell people what they need to stop doing. All I'm going to
But
do is I'm going to share. I'm going to, because we know what happens when we tell them you
I
need
know.
to stop, or you need to do this, or you
Yeah,
need to do
I know.
that, right? So, but
Just to be more open-minded. I'm trying to say for people to be more open-minded, like
yeah,
question more because what you're being told isn't always what it actually is, and
yes,
that
yes,
yeah, thank you.
yes.
I appreciate you.
Yeah. Allow yourself to question more
Yeah,
and allow yourself to be open for
yeah.
the infinite amount of answers that you can get, that
Definitely.
you'll get the opportunity to discern. So take mainly what I say, my phrase, my key phrases are: take what resonates, leave what doesn't. So we have time for one question from you to me, and then we're going to have to say
Sayonara.
sayonara.
Oh yeah. Question. This is gonna be off the cuff because I don't have anything planned.
Well, that's why I save it for the end, because it's always off the cuff. Then,
Yeah, yeah. I love it. I love.
because it's about flow,
Yeah,
emerge and flow.
yeah. It's kind of like, ooh, what do I want to know? I think
What
the key.
don't you already know about soul awakening with
I love.
Sandra? Come on.
I would say. I think the biggest thing I want to ask is what has been what has been your biggest teaching moment in 2025?
In 2025.
Yeah, there we go. I got it. I got
You
it.
got it. My biggest teaching moment.
Yeah, you've had many, but I'm just saying, like,
I've had many, but my biggest teaching moment was opening myself up to learn, teach, and teach, learn with my lumpectomy surgery, my radiation treatments, my merging modern medicine and holistic medicine, understanding that my question was never a why me, which allowed me not to be a victim.
mm,
It allowed me to move into asking an embodying question to my highest being, why now?
mm,
And allowing myself to be open to hear from my higher being, because you have always wanted to teach and educate people that modern medicine is not an enemy, that it is no different from the energy of holistic medicine. It's about the way you, the creator, creates it for yourself. I had to learn the alchemization process
mm,
so that I could teach it to others. When I was taking man made medicine to help me along, I had to learn that I could change the story of
mm.
the medicine.
Yeah,
That's what alchemy is: changing things that don't work for your highest and greatest good and giving them a new story.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I had to learn about earth consciousness and the holistic medicines that I could use after I worked, or after the collaboration with my doctors, that I chose not to fight them.
Mm,
It was not my health, and my divine health was not about fighting big pharma. That was not going to be my story.
mm,
So I learned how to go, no, that's not it. Everybody, that's what they wanted to say. Big pharma, this big, but that's not my story. Here's my story.
yeah.
I'm going to listen to my doctor. I'm going to be an active listener. I'm going to discern. I'm going to question. I'm going to collaborate with them. And with that, I learned this year that I was part of a team, that the divine sent me a team of
Mm,
doctors that listened to me. It
mm,
doesn't mean that they were 100% on my page,
yeah.
but they were going to give me the information. And where other people might have been struggling for the information from their doctor, I didn't make my doctors or my surgeons or the radiation technicians my enemy. I made them my collaborator.
Mm,
I gave them respect, and they gave me respect.
yeah.
They gave me the information that I needed for monitoring my health. And okay, well, I told the doctors I'll take this medicine for a year, but I'm going to change the story of it. I'm not going to talk about side effects or anything, because that's not going to be the story of the pill.
Mm,
Pill is going to do exactly what it's meant to do,
yeah.
you
Exactly.
know and because and if they didn't understand that spiritual part of it, it didn't matter to me. But all of this happened 2025. Now all I can do is, when somebody says, well, how did you do that, all I can do is tell them how I did it, and go, that's the seed that I'm going to drop to you. And then you're going to plant the seed, and you're going to water it the way you want to water it. You're going to believe it the way you're going to believe it. You're going to grow it the way you're going to grow it. And you're going to discern it the way you're going to discern it. And then you're going to evolve, however you're going to evolve. And I think that was, and it still is, because I'm still, uh, growing and expanding through it. But it was, I'm gonna say that was a wonderful learning experience, and it happened while I was writing my book,
Mm,
so that I could put that information in there.
yeah.
I, you know, I could use it as examples. It's not, I don't believe that I'm authentic. I know this. I'm the divine consciousness of God in human form. I know this. But also, I am no better than any other human being who's on a journey learning about themselves,
Mm,
whether they want to grow or whether they want to just stay in their limited space and enjoy their time on this planet,
yeah.
um, utilizing the energy that they have for themselves. I understand it.
Yeah.
Right? That's me in a nutshell.
Mm,
You know, and growth, expansion. You know, learning how to become more of me, a capital me, capital M, capital E.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay. not my little egoic me, though I realized that my ego has learned a lot from my higher being because I'm a fly on that wall listening to my higher being put my ego in check and say, come on,
Yeah.
we're not leaving you behind. Come on,
Yeah.
you know. And I mean, I allowed my ego to say, aren't we scared? And I allowed my my higher being said, go on, tell them. Hell yeah, I'm scared.
Mm.
Because that's the emotion of it. That's the human part of it. I couldn't bypass that. But I had to take that from being scared
Mm.
to being pleasantly surprised when everything was working for my highest and greatest good, that I was going in and doing my radiation treatments, and when the machine was irradiating the spot that was going to be cleansed,
Hmm.
I gave that energy direction, told it exactly what it was going to do. That no other part of that story that came from anyone else was going to enter me, and if it did, it was going to go back to the divine,
Mm.
because that's where all energy came from. I just learned so much and how to be powerful within myself.
Hmm.
It was to me, it was a miraculous learning experience.
Yeah. Wow.
Mm.
I love that.
Growth and
Yeah.
expansion,
Year,
man. It's
a year,
glorious.
a year long lesson.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
And it's still gonna go on. The
The
learning.
lessons, yeah, they're
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
they're
yeah, yeah.
growing. It's
From this experience, yeah.
yeah, because I get to, I can't tell a person if the way sharing them, sour. I learned about soursop. I learned about noni. I learned about beetroot for my blood pressure. I learned about all these things. Figuring out the right formula for myself. That whole kind of thing that works for me. Can it will it work for somebody in a stage? I don't know. Stage 4, I don't know. Stage 3, I don't know.
Yeah.
But all I can do is say, try it on for size and see if it does.
Mm.
I had to learn how to embody myself. What do I want? And then ask myself in all capital letters, what do I really want?
Mm.
Well, I want to live, right?
Yeah.
I can't tell you um, how to change that mind frame. That's
Mm.
going to be each person's journey. But I can tell you that I started it.
Yeah.
I can tell you that it was growth, and it was literally growth and process. You
Mm.
know,
Yeah. Wow.
right?
Hmm.
And I'm going to tell you
Yes.
that I'm going to tell you, we did almost a 2-hour live, man.
I love it, man. I love it. It's
Right?
hilarious. Back,
Hands up,
back like,
right?
back like we never left.
Yes. So I want to thank you for sharing your heart. I want to thank you for sharing your voice. I want to thank you for bringing your beautiful presence. And I'm going to ask you,
Yes.
will you close with a brief meditation?
Yeah. I
Close
don't
this
have much
space?
sound, but I can do talk. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So just close with a meditation.
Yes. A little breath work, a
Yeah.
little inhale, a little exhale, and,
Yeah.
closing it.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So let's take inhale in through the nose. And sigh out of the mouth. So on the next inhale, on the next exhale, slow exhale, slower than you've ever done it. Slower inhale through the nose. And when you're ready, slow, slow, slow exhale. Let's make this last one the best one. Slow inhale. And a slow exhale. Sigh out of the mouth. Take your time. Exhale to empty. You're good. You're good.
Always.
Thank you. Thank you for being here. Gratitude to uh, this container of this live, this conversation. Gratitude to ourselves. And in this moment, nurture yourself with a self hug.
Mm.
And whatever you are thankful for yourself, just acknowledge that in this moment, in this nurturing hug. Inhale and exhale that out. Much love, peace, and gratitude to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Welcome.
I hope everyone feels that love,
Yeah.
that peace, that wholeness, that stillness. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. I close this energy exchange with 10845, 10845,
Mm.
10845. 1 plus 8 is 9. 4 plus 5 is 9. 9 plus 9 is 18. And 1 plus 8 is 9. That's change. The closing of one energy exchange, ready to open a new one. Take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Emerge and flow. Blessings and wholeness to you and yours. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Peace. One love.
Yes, yes, indeed. Peace and love and calm and stillness and all of that jazz.
All that jazz. Jazz hands. Bye.
Bye. See ya.
All right.
Thank you.